Hi, welcome to Trigonometries. My name's Alan Perry, and today we're going to take a look at some spreadsheet tips about how to change the format of a number in a cell. So if you take a look at our spreadsheet here, we're going to try to cook up a few different types of numbers. You can see that if I just put in like a number like 5, it's just going to produce the number on its own. Nothing fancy. If I want, I can do like 7.87, and it just produces that number there. And so it kind of just uses sort of regular numbers. But what if instead I wanted to use a specific kind of number, like a percent? So we're going to take a look at a couple of different types of formats. We're going to look at percents. We're going to make things look like money, and we're also going to maybe look at like dates. Say I want to input something like 5%. The word percent actually means divided by 100. And so if I want to multiply something by 5%, I actually have to multiply it by the number 0.05, which is 5 over 100. So you could write that. You could say compute equals 5 over 100, and it would give me the 0.05. That's where the 0.05, meaning 5%, comes from. Now, what if instead I wanted to actually just interpret this number as a percent? Well, if I put in that 0.05, so there's this really cool percent key up here that if I press, it's going to turn this into a percentage. Now 0.05, as we said, should be 5%. So when I click it, you can see that indeed it switched it to 5%. If it's already a percent field, like here, I'll click the percent. Since it's already a percent field, if I just put in 5, it'll pick it as 5%. But if I put in a 5 before I hit the percent button, it's going to register that as the number 5. This number up here, even though it reads 5%, it is still interpreting it as 0.05. Down here, if I were to click and change this to a percent, it's going to say it's 500% because that's how many percent 5 would be. So a percent, right, is 1 out of 100. To get to the whole number 5 by counting hundredths, you would have to count 500 hundredths. So make sure that if you're going to use percents and you want to be able to just write down the number of the percents that you're using, you want to click the percent button before you put the number in rather than after you do. If you're going to do it after, you want to make sure you put in the number as the correct decimal. So if I want 5%, I need to put in 0.05, and then I can click percent and it'll give me the right thing. For money, if you want to turn something into a money amount, say I buy something that's $16.99 and I want to think of that as a money amount. What you can do is you can click this currency thing, which will turn it into a dollar amount. And what's cool about that is that even if you had something that had like a bigger decimal, like say you had 17.8554, if you convert that into a dollar, it recognizes that the only decimal places that matter are down to the penny. So when I click this, it'll actually round it to $17.86. But it doesn't lose the data. If you look up here, the actual field is still keeping track of the bigger number I had. It's only displaying it as a dollar amount so that it makes sense when I look at it. So whenever you change these formats, it's always keeping track of the actual data that you put in there. It's just displaying it according to the format that you wanted to put it in. There's other kinds of number types too. Sometimes it'll try to predict it. Like if I try to put in a date here, like, I don't know, August 12th, it will interpret that as an actual date. It even put in the year because I didn't specify what year I meant. But it just gave it as the month and day. It automatically assumed that's all I wanted because that's what I typed in there. But if I go here and I click a number and I click a date, there's several different ways that I can look at this. I can look at it as the date, like month, day, year. I can look at it as month, day, year, time. You can come down here, you can see month, day, year, but only with the 2-digit abbreviation for the year, the long abbreviation or the regular thing there. So I can, if I click this one, it'll now turn that into 8/12/25. It even changes what it looks like up in the data. I can convert that again to a different type of date and it looks like that, or I can convert it down to this kind of thing there. Anyway, so that's how you can manage what kinds of formatting for each kind of number that you want to do. There's various different number types. Now, one other thing that's important is how many decimal places a number has. So let's put here like maybe precision. And let's put in a big number that has a lot of decimals, like 8.546897. So I've got this number here. And let's say that when I'm actually using this number, I don't need to have all those decimal places. I can shorten the number of decimal places it has by using this button here, decrease decimal places. Now, it's important to note this won't actually change the number that's actually contained in the field. The number is still the 8.546897. All it changes is how that number is displayed and rounds it to the number of decimal places that you want. I can shorten one more time. Notice that here it looks like it should round that to 8.6, but because the actual number is 8.46897, if I were to shorten it to just having one decimal place, it really should round to 8.5. So it's rounding it according to what this number is up here, not what was previously displayed on the previous round. But you can increase how many decimal places, you can decrease it however you want. And so that's one way that you can add decimal places or decrease decimal places in order to get a number displayed the way that you want it to in your spreadsheet. And that's pretty much it for how to format a cell so that it presents numbers in various different ways. Thanks for joining us on Trigonometries, and we'll see you next time.